He can do it all. It's going to be a fascinating series. There's going to be mind games at play. I am so excited to see what these first builds are going to be turning out to. Obviously nothing super aggressive straight away, but in ZVZ it can all twist in just one small moment. Third hatchery's on the way from both players. Couldn't ask for much more of a standard start. There's a few more Lings on the way from Dark at the moment. That is the big difference between the two right now. And if Baneling nest goes down, but so it will do so the same just for Serral. No real differences. I mean, the biggest thing is there's just going to be a few more Lings from Dark. He will pressure this third.
But Dark is going to have the upper hand as far as the numbers go. That's, of course, where that Baneling nest comes in. But Dark is going to be able to use his Banelings offensively as well. A bit of a skill check right here for Dark.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, Serral is now getting his own Lings out, so let's see how this goes. The first Lings run in. Of course, Serral will have Queens to help him out as well. Dark morphs Banelings right in the natural of Serral. There's a few drones will pull to fight this initially as well. Serral is very serious about not letting these Banes get up. Queens target fire. The Banelings on the front. None of these Banelings are going to get up. Maybe that one in the back. I think the drones have to surround on it though, so they are going to deny it. And not a single Baneling gets to fully morph in from Dark. Serral losing man in time, but he's up 8 workers, and Dark is yet to go back to droning.
Dark right now retargeting towards that third hatchery. Couple Banes here will buy as much time as possible. Another Baneling gets denied. Okay, defensive Banes will be coming up as well for Serral. One of them trying to hunt all of this down. Units are going into the main base. Queen, of course, very slow off creep. More and more Links are just being made, and even though we thought maybe we would see some macro, not the case.
It is absolutely Dark who is just continuing to be the aggressor right now. He will not stop with this. I just don't know if he's gotten enough done. The army supply lead is starting to slip away. He's going to struggle to get more Banelings up at any sort of timing here that's going to be truly successful. There's a Baneling here and there, but we need multiple Baneling shots right now to see success. That's nice because it softens up a bunch of drones. Is it enough overall? We've evened out the worker count in this game.
Queen.
There's another Queen in the front as well going down to Serral. Maybe it is starting to slip just a little bit for him.
Yeah, that Queen certainly was way too far off creep. Serral still trying to hold on. Oh, you can one-shot all of those Zerglings, but it will take multiple Banes to kill your opponent Banes. Okay, Queen in the main base, just transfusing to the best of her abilities. It looks like Serral is slowly starting to stabilize. He's probably expecting Dark to give up on this aggression at some point, but Dark is just holding down the Zergling button.
Yeah, one more Baneling morphs in there, but the Lings get on him straight away. Serral still having to try and defend the third hatchery during all of this as well. That just complicates matters. We have this Queen moving forward once more, but we've seen just how dangerous this is. Queens have gone down multiple times so far. I think once again Dark is on that third base. It is going to be dropping very low. It looks as though Dark, he has a Baneling connection, so he will get it. Third hatchery goes down. Big win for Dark as he begins to build a drone behind this, and he may be done. Serral starts droning as well because he's saying, okay, you've got my third base. I think this is where you finally let up. And maybe he's right. We'll see. Dark, as he is coming out of a supply block, will be able to go from there. Banes are still connected in on one another.
Yeah, not quite the perfect defense that we have come to expect from Serral. He is trying his very best, and obviously this is a difficult situation to micro your way out of, but nice bit of aggression done right here by Dark. Okay, now it's Serral, ready to deal a bit of damage on the other side of the map, but there's those roaches coming up for Dark.
Serral's going to lose his third base potentially again, by the way. That's really bad if that goes down. Lings are already on top of it on the other side of the map, so that's going to be on the picture-in-picture. There's a few Lings showing up. Dark will have the better numbers there for the moment. He's going to turn back on it. It looks as though Serral will be able to defend, but this is, of course, stretching Serral out into building more units instead of just having any chance of really setting up eco. Serral on 26 drones, building a roach roaring up, but this is just not looking pretty for our finished Zerg, who's not lost a map just yet in the tournament, but it may be about to happen.
He is indeed undefeated so far. Banelings coming in from the left. Serral trying to see if he can potentially get lucky, catch his opponent off guard. The drones are indeed unprotected here, save for those Queens. No real damage done. Great splits right there by Dark, who's now showing up with those defensive roaches on the other side of the map. He's going to try his very best to see if he can potentially end the game right here, right now. Does he have enough?
Yeah, I think so. There's just so few ways in which Serral can hold this up, as even if the roaches right now can't do it, as soon as they get a few Lings in front of them, it's not going to be a competition, I don't think. A Baneling shows up here from Serral, helps to try and stop the Banes coming in, but all it really takes, like to say, is I think a few Lings getting in front, protecting these roaches a little bit, and Dark is going to be sending it through, and he's got the work elite behind this as well. Little Ling counterattack is achieving nothing on the other side. Serral will drop a map.
I was already paying attention right there to the production tab. I was wondering if maybe this would be the moment where Dark goes for some cheesy strategies, because we do see a lot of, well, 13-12s, 12 spawning pool, like just hyper aggression as early as possible, but no, just a hatchery firster on the low ground. Nothing all too significant, but Serral's going to get the scout over here off the opponent's third base. Safety Baneling nest coming up already. You can see that Dark, he's either delaying it or he is skipping it. Now, he decided to delay it for now. But that is one of the things you can do when you're comfortable in a series. Serral has to make sure that everything is as clean as possible, because otherwise he is taking risks. Dark, taking a very minor risk here, cutting a tiny corner, but it may just give him that edge that, well, he's looking for.
Yep. No, absolutely, as we have the Bane nest halfway done from both sides. The link speed is coming up, a few drones, and the Queen coming online on the side of Dark as well, so you get all of that going. And again, a few more drones and lings just popping on through from Serral as well. Everything is pretty cozy for the first few minutes here.
This is, of course, the first-person view right here for Serral. He decides to go for a defensive spine crawler there as well. I think +1. Did he finish it already?
No.
There's no way, right? But he needs to start it up.
Yeah, he was building a spine. Did he cancel it maybe? Because
oh, that's what happened. Yeah, he was selecting that Evo chamber there. I was wondering what just went down in that spot, but he may have actually overestimated that push there by our Zerg in red, because he was not quite prepared against the push. So Spinecrawler gets cancelled. He cancelled his +1 too, but actually puts him in a really funky position.
Yeah, no, it's just another way in which Dark is going to leverage a slight advantage, right? And this is the thing, it's all slight advantages, which a lot of the time Serral is good enough to overcome because he's so good defensively. He can take really amazing Roach Ravager fights a lot of the time. You can see his defensive position already set up. He tries to scout in, but that will be denied, and he will also try and take a fourth. He really just wants to know for sure what's going on. He wants to make sure there's no muta switch behind this, for example. That's what you're seeing him do with all of that movement. It is not any of that. We see the burrow on the way from Dark, though. He is looking towards some opportunity, maybe play a bit aggressively. Serral's going to take the chance to drop the Hydra down, however.
I think Hydra, is a smart choice if it would be muta play, right? So it is something that is a bit easier to get to these days, ever since the new multiplayer balance patch. Is just a transition that you can make a little smoother and a little quicker in this matchup. That being said, though, Dark is just going roaches. He's made 60 drones. There is a 4th hatchery, but he's really just holding down the roach key at this point, and his +1 missile is really nice and early. This is actually a really strong attack that Dark is going for right here. The question is, does Serral have enough to defend against it? He does have the defender's advantage in the sense that his units spawn closer to the battle, but he really needs to make sure he's in a solid position here to defend against all of these roaches.
It is Golden Aura, which is a map with a lot of very narrow choke points to kind of move up initially, but you see Dark kind of getting up to this high ground already. Serral has a choke here, but at least not a choke up a ramp. So that's going to be the difference, and Dark even going to split up to come in from 2 angles, minimize the effectiveness of those chokes, and here we go, diving on forward, and Serral will try and make a hold. Just got his +1 missiles finished in time for this battle. He's holding decently on the left. I think he's a little outnumbered on the right-hand side, as Serral's supply is starting to take a little bit of a lead. Is it going to be enough? He's microing a Ravager to drop a Lord.
Yeah, he's picking up his weakened units and dropping them behind the roaches once again. Nice pickup right there by Dark as well, though, who's now starting to grab that advantage. Units are spawning closer to the battle here for Serral. He's also forced to pull his queens to the front. Drones right now also trying to take a few of those hits. The fact that the queens are gone may very well make it difficult for him to continue reinforcing this, but Dark decides to step off the gas and make a couple of drones there defensively. But that was on a razor's edge. Very easy to see that tipping in Dark's favor. Roaches are loaded into that Overlord that was used to save that Ravager just earlier in the battle. This is really nice to create a distraction, for example, in your opponent's main base, and it gets even more powerful when the Burrow and the Burrow movement upgrade are done. Tunneling Claws, it's that upgrade on the red production tab, and it allows those roaches to move around while burrowed. It means that Dark needs to have detection in the form of these Overseers, or I guess if he really wants to, Spore Crawlers as well, but usually at this stage of a Zerg versus Zerg, you would be using Overseers for it, and you need to be in the right position at the right time. It's quite difficult. So Serral looking to be the aggressor now, moving forward at least for the next minute or two.
Did Dark ever get Tunneling Claws himself? No, he actually cancelled the burrow too. I wonder if that was just like a little fake out or something. But now Serral is genuinely going to have that harassment available. Roach is in the main base from the Dropper Lord too, and this is where Dark's going to have to respond. He's going to have to be everywhere as Serral goes for a fight forwards. This is a moment where Serral does not have that +2 missile advantage just yet. He's winning out in the main base momentarily because roaches are stuck behind Queen, so that's going very well for him. And he's about to have that upgrade lead as well as Dark. Yeah, has to pay attention there, otherwise those Biles could have been deadly.
+2 missile finished right now for Serral. That's going to make his units quite a bit more powerful. Good movement here, though, by Dark, trying to set up that concave, but Serral decides to push through. Corrosive Biles are connecting. He's sniping as many of the Ravagers as possible. Roaches in the main base still dealing some damage, but Dark's reinforcements have arrived.
They have indeed. Serral did not manage to commit fully through onto that base. A few more roaches still in this main, getting a few more drones using the burrow that Dark isn't quite prepared to deal with right now. There's the Overseer finally showing up, but Serral is making this game kind of turn into his own command, and he is definitely putting himself in a better spot than he has been. That said, for these drones killed, Serral is, leading on workers, but he's behind on army supply, and Dark's about to have +2 and +1 carapace sooner than Serral. He will now drop the infestation bit, trailing heavily on the hive timing.
But he is one upgrade behind here.
Trying to push up a ramp, man. These are not the sort of ramps you want to, push up realistically. They're narrow, they're difficult to get up. You see a few roaches dropping off in the main base again once more. A few drones likely in trouble here. Doc just clicked back to get something in position, but it's going to take a few moments. And again, Serral just chipping away at that worker count. Doc continues to replace his supply with more units. He absolutely is just making one massive army. That's great if you can get one swarming fight and then get across the map and take advantage, but in any smaller skirmish where you trade a bit and then back away, Serral is just going to be draining the bank of Dark so much quicker because Dark's bank is building up so much more slowly.
Absolutely. Hive at this point is done, by the way, for Serral, so he can start looking into some late-game transitions. Instead, he decides to just right-click that hatchery of his opponent, gets the kill of it. Yeah, very lovely work right there by Serral, but this is a massive amount of army here for Dark. Yeah, 150 or so supply.
Well, I was going to say, and he's going across the map, but a bunch of his units getting caught, so a lot of the numbers are being taken away. Serral's going to accept this base trade by running into the natural as well, so away we go. He's already rebuilding a Rotron as well. He immediately gets the Rotron of his opponent. That's a big deal. He will catch a lot more reinforcements. Oh, this is wild.
Yeah, no, we're going to just go into a full base race. Sure, Serral may have had small leads here and there, but Dark is trying to nullify that to the best of his abilities, hitting his opponent everywhere. Serral, in the meantime, decides to go back home. He did make a safety double Roach Warren. Hatchery's also, in the meantime, going up in the top right-hand corner of the map. He's canceling all of them at this point, trying to just preserve as much money as possible. Serral ultimately does still have the largest supply count. There's a lot of Hydras now also reinforcing this. Dark decides to go into Swarm Host, Wardy.
I mean, Swarm Hosts are a way to play very efficiently should Serral not be able to rebuild anymore, but Serral's on his way back to trying to defend a bunch of his hatcheries. Serral got so much in production all of a sudden. His army supply took a massive jump forwards. Neither player's going to have a lot of workers left. That's why the Swarm Host might be a genius idea, but it's not the best thing to be using against Roach Ravager. So we'll have to see if that genius idea really is that genius as a few Hydras getting caught.
Yeah, those Hydras and those reinforcing roaches coming from the main base, getting caught basically for free. Dark trying to use his opponent's natural as a
gets the Swarm Host.
Yeah, a couple Swarm Hosts, and he burrows the roaches as well in the picture-in-picture. Lovely work right there. That's the main base of Dark. I think Serral's decision to go back home was the right one, but my god, is it a difficult call to make.
I think it's the right one because he's still got a couple bases up for himself. Dog's trying to get the gold run in the bottom left. I love that these roaches intercepted the Swarm Hosts. The Swarm Hosts were such a genius idea, and we're never going to get to see them in play at this rate as Serral continues to hunt them down. They've not been able to take part over here yet. Dog camping on this bottom position. Serral going to get a few more roaches. His army supply up by 50. Down one carapace upgrade, but upgrades don't matter with these sort of numbers differences.
Dark took the gold base, by the way, in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. That is one way to get back into it. Yeah, that is a lot of economy here relative to the amount that Serral has got. So 16 drones for Dark, all of them at the golden minerals. Serral has got only 7.
Swarm Hosts have all died apart from, I think this one is the last one on the map. So that entire plan from Dark fails, and that could have been more roaches or anything. I like the idea. He's just never gotten to play out. Fantastic play from Serral in that regard as he continues to control what became a very wacky scenario. Roaches across the map trying to make sure they can deny as much mining as possible. And yeah, that gold base is up from Dark. He does have 19 drones to the 11. It's still going to take a long time to make 70 army supply that your opponent has over you.
The supply advantage is very obvious, but I was going to say, given enough time, Dark can make units that can kill this army here from Serral. So a Spire has been planted down. Now, that is certainly a desperation Spire. This is going to take a while before it will finish as well. Serral seems to be in firm control, but he's got to start thinking, okay, never mind. GG.
And here we are now, gold base versus gold base on Equilibrium. Nope, but that's what the gold minerals are for, right? Is we're trying to get some gold base on gold base split action. Doesn't quite work when the hatchery's still building, but in a moment this will be picture perfect. You see the drones coming across from Dark to do what Serral did just a few moments earlier, so everything will more or less even out here. Serral also takes the rich Vespine because this is a super rich base, which means you get rich gas and rich minerals, so it's a really like a double bonus for risking taking it early on. Roach Warren from Serral.
Yeah.
against Lings.
I don't love it, to be honest.
I always feel like when you take a gold and you play Roaches, if your opponent has a gold and plays Lings, the Lings can just swarm so much. It's so hard to get Roaches across the map without them just being surrounded.
Yeah, it's also really difficult to defend two bases at once, right? Because you're obviously so split up here. Serral has decided to skip the Ling speed altogether. He's playing an ultra greedy build. Dark's playing Ling Bane. Serral is playing Mass Roach. And has Serral seen the gold base, by the way? The stat is very important. Yeah, okay, he has seen the creep, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. As, I mean, he's got to know that this is a possibility what his opponent is doing, so we'll see how it works out. We do have the Evo Chamber coming in to help wall off, so he's trying to minimize where the Lings can access this gold from to make this as good a fight as possible. But then you've also got to deal with the main base.
Yeah, so I don't think that these Roaches, are going to leave. So Serral's making two walls, one over in the main base, and one over at the third. Well, I wasn't going to call this the third. I guess it's the first expansion. Wouldn't quite call it the natural, but over at the gold. There is... I mean, there's Protoss players that could study this, man. Protoss players love making walls. Zergs usually just plant their structures down, but Serral is putting them in very deliberate locations.
Yeah, these Banes like, we'll go around the back then. Well, guess what? There's a wall over here, too.
Look at that, multi-layered wall in the main ramp.
Yeah, just in case the first wall gets busted by, like, enough Banelings. I mean, these Banes show up, can't do anything there. Yeah, it's absolutely picture perfect. Serral will be impenetrable. And look at this, by the way. He was ahead on drones initially. Now he'll drone up a bit further. He's building Roaches, so his army supply looks juicy. I mean, just starts to go into lair +1 missiles, and the longer we go, the less effective all that Ling Bane investment is from Dark. In fact, that Ling Bane investment already has been wasted, and so Serral just gets to skip through a phase of the game Dark spent money on. But yeah, I mean, Serral's just done this correctly. You know, he's just been very patient, he's been very happy to just play it slowly. We're now going to be seeing a little bit of point of view from Dark here as he figures out how to play out this situation gold on gold with Ling Bane versus Roaches, but obviously his own Roaches now on the way. Wonder if he decides to get aggressive overall, if he will just get that hatchery fully kind of saturated on the natural and then kind of figure it out from there.
Absolutely. There's, by the way, creep being dropped out of overlords from Serral, and that is an indicator that there is a highway being formed. Serral may have the slower moving army, but those Roaches are going to get a nice little speed boost as soon as they walk onto the creep. Serral, he is likely going to go for an attack here momentarily, but obviously the question for Dark is, when can I expect his army? He's been making units for quite a while. You also don't want to be caught in a situation where you're just making army and you don't have enough drones anymore. Serral's gonna go back home? Really? He finished up the +1 missile and he finished up the Roach speed. I thought for sure that that is the moment where he wants to go for an attack, but I think he's looking at that army from Dark. He's like, wait a second, I really don't need to get all too much done. He knows it's going to be +1 armor 100% of the time. That means that his Roaches will not nearly be as effective, so +2 missiles is a fantastic upgrade because it would allow him to 2-shot those Lings rather than 3-shot. This is going to give Dark a lot of time, though. He's been making Ravagers, so I guess in Serral's mind, Mutas are completely off limits.
Yeah, I think just in general, right, Serral sees this as like, oh, you're essentially like a Ling Ravager Carapace all in. So he doesn't need to attack because he's got the tech of the lair himself, right? And if he gets the Bane Nest up and a few Banes out, he can deal with these Lings very nicely too, soften them up, give him these Roaches a better chance. Obviously, you don't want to let these Ravagers get too many good biles off. Let's see what happens as Lings do get us around here. We can dodge some of those biles, but not a lot of them. That was an explosive affair. However, the Roaches are going to jump on the Ravagers now. They are going to chase through, and they have the speed to do so. The Ling numbers are just not holding out against this amount of Roaches, and Dark's attack is stopped, and Serral has been, as you mentioned, teching up.
Either way, standard openers once again from both players. We've got ourselves a third hatchery coming up on both sides of the map. The mirror matchups in Starcraft 2, you can usually pay attention to the production tab to see any deviations. You expect it to be about 95% normal and the same, right? If you see any major deviations, that can, well, really tell you what the strategies are going to be for either player. Quicker Baneling Nest right here for Serral, but there's Dark, so...
That's Roach-Roran as well, ooh.
This is a build that we have seen a lot over the years. Cheeky little Roach Warren. Serral is gonna try and scout and see if his opponent is doing the same thing. We saw a similar situation in a previous game in this series. If he can successfully detect that indeed there is no Roach Warren here for Dark, there is an opportunity for him to commit. And he's running in. Usually it'd be hidden over here. Obviously it doesn't mean everything, but he sees the timing of that Roach Warren, and Serral's one is much quicker. But there is a quick Roach Warren here in the grand scheme of things. is this something that Serral can really punish? This is not the fastest possible Roach Warren here for Dark by any stretch of the imagination, but Serral actually has looked at it and he's like, yeah, no, I can actually punish this. Interesting decision, because usually when you see the Roach Warren, you do give up on the push, but Serral decides, no, I'm actually going to double down, but he is making 5 drones right now on the back of it. So Dark also trying to figure out, hey, is this fake? Like, how much are you really committing to this push? Serral is really selling this as a major commitment, but he's actually making loads of drones on the back.
Starts the last sooner as well, right? So he just wants to force a bunch of units out of Dark and then be like, nope, actually, I'm not committed to this, right? And he's selling
or am I?
As well, yeah. He's going to stick around, and you can see Dark making a bit of a mistake as well. Supply blocked for a moment or two, and he's still just building roaches while Serral drones, builds lair, builds +1 missiles. He sold it beautifully. 6 overlords on the way from Dark. I mean...
Dark ultimately calls the bluff here. He sends those drones back to mining. But that means that for about a minute or so, Serral does get a solid advantage. He sees the drones right now over at the 3rd base, and that is a massive scout right there for Serral. That's a massive indication.
He knows.
Yeah, that this has to be a push right now from Dark. Usually you'd expect that 3rd to be much more saturated than it is. Dark has decided, yo, I've been making all these units defensively. I've got too many units now. I guess I have to go for an all-in, or at least a committed push.
The spines are well spread, so a group of Banes aren't going to find them all at once either. Serral, yeah, I mean, the one thing I was going to say is the concern is this 3rd hatchery isn't in range of the spines, right? So Dark may be able to work through this, but if you're hitting the hatchery, Serral can find some shots as well, and this is going to be the dance.
Absolutely, they're going to be dancing back and forth. Serral will be able to produce more units here ultimately, but that first wave is dangerous. In the meantime, though, Zerking's over at the 3rd base as well for Serral, so he's dealing with one of the queens and the spine crawlers. I do like the positioning here in the end, though. That 3rd base is vulnerable, but Dark is not looking for the 3rd base. He wants to see if it can potentially win this game right here, right now. And that means that just sniping the 3rd hatch is not going to be worth it. It looks like he is starting to break through all of these units, though.
Yeah, the spine crawlers have gone down. Serral did not ever cancel the +1 missile, so he was really hoping this would finish up or that he'd survive with it. That could have been a few extra roaches, of course. We move forward here. We cancel a Ravager on the way, using the drones to tank. Serral can lose a few drones, but not too many. The links showing up are a problem because now the roaches of Dark will not be taking damage. The overall army supplies have evened up a little bit, though, but still, Serral losing roaches right now as Dark continues through. Those lings are putting in so much work. However, +1 missiles is done from Serral, and with +1 missiles, it's a very different situation. Dark starts to realize, hey, let's run lings into the natural because I'm not winning the fight anymore, and Serral is starting to find himself a defense while still being pretty okay on drones. Serral has held.
That was a very expensive hold, though, and ultimately the economical advantage that Serral had has been nullified. He did make that lair. I was wondering if he had cancelled it, but no, he did let it finish. So that means that the roach speed will be a little bit quicker, but ultimately I actually don't mind that push right there for Dark. That was very risky, very committed, but he transitioned out of it.
But he's just not going any further in Dark. It's his turn to maybe have to build some spine crawls, because I think Serral is going to go across this map in the next few moments. Yeah, he saw the saturation here, he saw the lack of gases, but the saturation's full, the gas cancels as well from Serral, really trying to fake this out. But Dark's building roaches. It's really going to be the roach speed advantage in numbers that Serral has in his favor.
That fake gas geyser is really cheeky, though, because Serral knew exactly what he was looking for. Dark is going to double check right now, and he will see that the gas has been cancelled. Immediately upon noticing that, Serral decides to pull the trigger. Spine crawlers are coming up right now, but I wonder if they are a little too late. Then again, though, Dark has been making loads of roaches defensively for a while already. Rather than saving his gas to go for mutas, he decides to morph some of those roaches into Ravagers.
Yeah, but it's 30 to 20-ish, 33 to 18 roaches right now, a few Ravagers on either side. Obviously, you can buy some time with those Crows of Battle. Serral does eat a couple, so big HP losses for him, but he does have more, and he has roach speed for the first couple moments of this. Now Dark has roach speed himself. Spinecrawl is still coming up, remember, during this. Serral very committed, did not build drones behind this, and Dark has those mutas on the way. So Serral is on a timer and must deal enough damage before those mutas are out, because mutas will make his life miserable. Can we? Oh, we actually cancel the mutas as we hit the corrosive valve on the egg, so that's going to be great. Now only one muta on the way. This third hatchery still eating the valves, which means it may very well go down here. Serral, can he at least get the third hatch? He'll have more valves in a moment as he keeps on fighting. Dark is down 20. Army supply, the queens are dropping. Hatchery will fall, and the spines will be the last stand, as Serral might just back away for now. He's still building roaches, the single muta, to try and turn this all around.
That one mutalisk is not achieving all too much. He's trying his very best, flapping his little wings, trying to kill all of those roaches and Ravagers, but he's just not putting in that much damage. Serral wants to try and see if he can continue going. He's smelling blood in the water. He wants to see if he can take this series, and
He's got it. He's got it, man. He's absolutely got it. He takes down one spine. The next spine is in trouble. It gets one shot off, but Dark realizes that this is GG, and Serral is going to the Katowice Grand Final.